Hi students, how are you? How do you feel the quarantine holidays? I hope you are fine and healthy. Today we are going to discuss about 8th standard history, unit 5, educational development in India. First of all, we are going to discuss about what are the learning objectives in this lesson. Shall we see one by one? Know the ancient system of education in India. Understand the development of education in medieval and modern India. Analyze the educational development through the during British rule. Discuss the importance of national education policy. How to understand the educational development in Tamil Nadu. You know very well, knowledge is the third eye of a man. Shall we discuss about first introduction about the lesson. Education is a continuous process of acquiring and sharing knowledge of skills and values. Education is recognized as the foundation of progressive society. So it plays a vital role in shaping responsibility of the people. The world we live is constantly changing and developing the world. So we want to meet the challenges and overcome to the obstacles. We need to well educated in the human development process. Next topic is education in ancient India. The historical sources provide the information that from very earlier times, that is a tradition of teaching and learning, that is called what? A tradition of teaching and learning had been voiced in India. So the concept of education might have been originated from the Vedas. We know very well there are 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharvana Veda. So the literal meaning, the Sanskrit word, that is the Sanskrit word. Veda is which word ma? Sanskrit word, that is derived from, we are telling Sanskrit word, the word Veda means knowledge. And it is derived from the word with. It is derived from the word with, which means to know. The word with means to know and Veda means knowledge. Our ancient education system evolved the modern system and focused on the development, holistic development in the culture about that period. So it emphasizes on the values of such as humility, truthfulness, reliance and respect for all the creations. The next topic is sources of learning. You must hear the words of Panini, Aryabhatta, Katyayana, Patanjali. Their writings and model treatises of Chakra and Susastra were also the sources of learning in this centers. So, various sacrifices and history, logic, interpretation, architecture, polity, agriculture, so animal husbandry, agriculture. These are the general development learning centers of the sources of learning. So, you have to must understand the students to what are the sources of learning, and the students and their group, they worked constantly together to become a proficient in all the sources of learning. The next system is ancient education system in India, that is called a way of life. So that system is called the Gurukula system. In ancient India, both formal and informal education existed. Both formal and informal educations were existed. Indigenous education also were existed. From where home and also in the temples. Villages and temples who guided young children in impairing the pieces of their life. Temples and villages, they compared to served in vital role in imparting the education and served centers of learning. The students were also learned from through their medieval upon depending upon the Gurukulas, that is called the Gurukula system. In sacrifice from one scene to another scene, they make them to their surroundings, and Gurukulas during the early period education were treated to Guru or Acharya. They want to what? Treat the students from Guru or Acharya, and their homes were here together and they were accepted from their goals. The students want to accept their goals. The Gurukulas were also relations they want to maintain and strengthened with their time. So many monasteries and viharas also here, monks, in Tamil we will say the Turavigal. So nuns have to meditate and discuss how to learn the education system in India. So during the period of modern India, they have 2 educational centers and developed with architectural culture also. So from where China, Korea, Tibet, Burma, Java, Nepal and other distant centers also. The next topic is Viharas and universities. Taxila, that period is called the Buddhist period. Taxila was an interpretation city. Taxila is called what was? Interpretation city, and from the northwest Pakistan, and it is equal to the UNESCO of the World Heritage. And its culture in fame rested to the university. In Tamil we will say the university Palgalai. So Chanakya said to have composed his Arthasastra. Who composed the Arthasastra? Chanakya composed the Arthasastra. That is an archaeologist. So Alexander Cunningham decorer of that ruins to mid 1947s of their colony, that is called Viharas and universities. That is from what? A Buddhist period. In this period is called what? Buddhist period. That is related to which university? UNESCO. That is what? We are going to tell what? University. That is a register to university in Chanakya. Who composed the Chanakya? Artha Sastra. So are you understood? Viharas and universities. So the Jataka talents, they want to understand the Viharas and universities, their surroundings of the kings and the society, took an arch promoting the education. They want to promote the education through the monasteries and Vihara. They also the Buddhist scholars. What we are telling? Buddhist scholars has to maintain the educational centers of their what exist. Among the most notable universities increased during in the period of Viharas and universities in kind of the period Buddhist period. So they have to learn in the education of in the period of Gurukula system. That period is called the way of life. Next topic is role of a teacher. What is the role of a teacher? Now only we are going to discuss role of the teacher. Teachers had complete the autonomy in aspect of accession and students to learn the education about the designing of their syllabi. That is the syllabi is called the syllabus. When the teacher was satisfied with the performance of the students, they have to learn the education about the teacher also. So many students he liked and thought what is students were taken to keep the learn also. So what are the different teachings of the learnings in this lesson? We are going to discussing now. Teachers were assisted by their advanced level students. You know, the ancient Nalanda University is a center of a learning center. That is in which century? 5th century AD. Already you know the above explanation about the AD, unknown domain, and C also same common era. And located in present day Bihar, that is Rajgir, we are telling what? Bihar. So Nalanda also one of the universities in the world, that is I already told you, UNESCO declared the ruins of the Nalanda Mahavira a World Heritage Site. So the new Nalanda University is envisaged to the teachers and intercultivated dialogue. The next one is education in medieval India. Medieval period witnessed a radical transformation with introduction of Muslim education. We are telling what a Muslim education in the Indian subcontinent. The country was invaded by the various foreign rulers. And several traders from different parts of the world. The tradesmen and the invaders brought with the help of the country who helped the people also they helped. So besides religious, society and culture, education, these also what experience a new perspective. So what is the aim of the education? The education of the education was developed from the Muslim period, that is a medieval to developed in their society. In educational development, they also illumination and extension of knowledge. In which century? 11th century. The Muslim traders and rulers established elementary and secondary school. Education developed with the first accept during the period. In which period? Muslim period. That is called the medieval period. Muslim period is called what? Medieval period. With first accept during the period as the excellent interaction with the students and gurus also. Already I told to you, Chanakya, who composed the Arthasastra, Chanakya, and knowledge and theology from religion, philosophy, fine arts and radius, architecture, mathematics, medicine and astronomy, that is architecture. So however, before the arrival of the Muslims in India, a developed system of education was already in the place. So Muslim rulers produced urban education by knowing the libraries in the societies. They founded a primary school, that is what called maktabs, in which students learned reading, writing and basic Islamic prayers. That is a Muslim, in Tamil we will say Muslim prayers, that is a Vanangaradhu. So in like that period, that is a medieval period, they have to establish from the sultans and their nobles. So what is the main objective of the madrasas? Madrasas, in Tamil we will say what? Masudi. And they have to learn from there only. So what is the established madras from the Delhi's British ruled? So they have to develop in Delhi's British rule. Gradually means madras came into at the time existence. The system of education in medieval India under the control of ulema, in Tamil we will say what? Ulema. During those days education was related to religious training. However, become the subject such as medicine, Arabic, literature, grammar, philosophy were also here what? Taught in which period? Medieval India period. So Arab and Central Asian peoples, they have to brought educational model to India, in brought to educational culture development also in that period. So they have to Madrasa and Mawzila Sakruddin and Alauddin Khilji, they also developed educational centers here. So what is the medieval British came to India and interact with the students? They have to education made from advances from the country, and various universities and thousands of college also about a probability of what education increase in that medieval India. The next topic is modern system of education. The beginning of the modern system of Indian education can be traced to the efforts of the Christian missionaries who arrived in India the wake up of European occupations. As a result of their efforts, many institutions were established across the India. So their institution imported Western as well as Indian education. So what are the role of the Christian missionaries? European came to India for what? What purpose they came? Trade, and established trading companies, and they acquired lands and constructed fortresses. Later they wanted to spread their culture. They want to spread their culture and religion among to the Indians. The Europeans thought that they could make Indians how to understand and administrate through the theories, and if they could import from one method to another method. The Portuguese were the system of education in India. Francis Xavier, that is Jesus, started university at Verma, Cochin. They started many primary school. Who started the many primary school? Role of the Christian missionaries, they started many primary school. The first college offering degrees is what? Complete with the course started in Goa, that is in the year of 1575, where Christianity, that is a Kritu Kalku, in grammar and music were also taught. So in 1812, C.S. John established 20 free reading schools in Vancouver, followed by the Portuguese. The French cultures also institution for all the Indians, where education was imported from that modern system of education. So they have to learn from the trading centers in Calcutta, and they have to develop in the company from 1600 CD, that is called what? AD, that is CE. So the colleges from Calcutta, they reveal, meditate, extend the missionary system of Christianity in role of the modern culture. So they have to develop from one period into the another period. The next topic is education in the British rule. History of education in British rule can be divided into how many periods? There are 4 periods. That is, how can we write? From the early days, listen here, from the early days of the British rule up to 1830. Second one, period from 1813 to 1853. Period from 1854 to 1920, and last period is 1921 to 1947. First of all, we are going to discuss about from the early days of the British rule up to 1813. During the early days, the East India Company followed a policy indifference and non-interaction towards education as sector, did not form a part of this program. So the company's character, they rewind in the year of which year? 1813, which compelled to the company assume the responsibility for the education in Burma Indians. So they have to through the very limited scale. They have to through the very limited scale. So besides missionaries, non-missionaries like who Raja Ram Mohan Rai of the Bengal, Pachayapar of Madras and Viii Std of Delhi contributed to the cause of the education. In 1830, the East India Company was compelled to accept responsibility for the education of the all Indians. Character of Act in which year? We are going to discover only the 1813 made a provision for an annual grant of a sum of and 1 lakh rupees. How many rupees? 1 lakh rupees for the promotion of education in India. Completed first and second period is period from 1813 to 1853. The second period was also marked by the great educational controversies concerning the issues of educational policy. So medium from instruction with modern spreading the education. So first they are the Orientals who support the prevention and Oriental learning use the Sanskrit and Persian as the media of the instruction. So they have opposed to the Angloists who advocated discrimination of Western knowledge. So already I told you the word Veda is derived from the knowledge. Through they developed in English. A third section believed in the use of Indian language as the medieval of the instruction. The controversies were partially stated the Macaulay's minutes of 1835, that is in the medieval period, that is 1835. Higher education also again pre-originated. Education is the upper classes for the students. Each provides the education from its own education policy. But even they controversies continued in the year of 1854. Next, the third period from 1854 to 1920. The third phase of British influenced education may be called the period from All India Education. In this period is called what more? All India Educational Policy. It commenced with Sir Charles Wood's dispatch in the year of 1854. So Hunter Education Commission also started in the year of 1882, gave emphasis to the primary education. The Hood's dispatch in the year of, we consider only the 1854, is called the Magna Carta of English, that is called what? English education in India, because it was the first what? Declaration of British education policy. Which one? Magna Carta. So they want to educate from Moses at all the levels. It resulted in complete control one side state education to diverging it from Indian interests, ideals and culture. The last one is a period from 1921 to 1947. The fourth phase maybe has called the which period? Provincial autonomy. So the act of in the year of in between the year 1935 assessed an era of educational advertisement through the country. So they have two new programs were held by the worldwide economic. Which economic? Worldwide economic, that is simply we are going to tell WW. So in 1929 they have the act of the government. In 1935 further they strengthened of the position of provincial ministers under their education. So after the Second World War, இரண்டாம் உலக போருக்கு பிறகு, a very important, so listen, do you know Varda scheme of education? In between the place the Varda system of education is developed in the year of 1937. Gandhiji evolved a scheme, popularity is known as the Varda scheme. Varda scheme, basic, that is called a national education system. So the principle means here kolgai. So violence was the basic, Gandhiji scheme of basic education only here we learnt. So through the scheme you want to develop the students' qualities, further citizens, how do they want to live, how do they want to spend the money. So like that we want to understand. So what are the learning society? And his system wanted to root the exploitation and concentration to the society in the medieval period from they started 1921 to 1947 and they created non-violent social order. This is the explanation about education in British rule. Already we know very well they are separated in how many periods? That is 4 periods. The next one is education and development of independent India. You know the independent in the year of 1947. The new epoch making era in history of education was addressed with the help of attainment of independence in the year of 1947. In the year of 1947. So it brought a new hope, a new vision, new hope and a new vision. So new hope and a new vision. So they have the new feature from the Indias. In the year of 1948, Dr. Radhakrishnan Commission was appointed to present a report on university education. Who appointed the university education? Dr. Radhakrishnan. So in persons of a commission's recommendation, University Grants Commission was considered. That is a University Grants Commission. The expansion of UGC is called University Grants Commission. Determine the standard to higher education. One of the most important events that has taken place in the secondary education. They have taken the place of a secondary education. Commission, the second education commission from the year of 1952 to 1953. So it suggested new importance improvement in the quality of textbooks, curriculum under the chairmanships of Dr. D.S. Kothari was appointed by the government of in the year of 1964. So he appointed the government in the year of 1964 free and compulsory primary education for all the children up to the age of how many years? 14 years. How many years, ma? 14 years. Who appointed? That is Dr. Radhakrishnan and what? D.S. Kothari. So 14 years they have to uniform educational center. How they calculated? 10 plus 2 plus 3. So pattern where it's recommendations. So this is the education and development in the India. The next topic is National Policy on Education. The National Policy on Education is started in the year of 1968. In that education was depend upon post-independent, that is a post-independent in India. It aimed to promoting the national progress, a sense of a common citizenship. What ma? Common citizenship under the culture and strengthen to national integration. So in 1986, listen, in the year of 1986, the government introduced a new education policy. When they introduced the government new Indian policy? In the year of 1986. The aim of the new education policy was transfer a static society into a vibrant one which who commitment to the development and change. That is a development in the period of 1986. And they committed from marginalized section of the country and removal of the university, especially for with rural India, rural India. The new education policy is called a child-centered approach in primary education and launched the Operation Blackboard, launched in Burma, Blackboard to improve primary school nationwide. The new education policy was revised from again in the year of, they again revised in the year of 1992. They again revised in the year of 1992. It envisages the formulation of a national curriculum and from or emphasis on service education, the improvement of the facilities, they improve the facilities and streamlining of the evaluation system of the secondary stage. Next one is a SSA and RMSA. What is the expansion of SSA? Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. In Tamil we will say Anaivarukkum Kalvi Thittam. And RMSA, that is called Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. That is called RMSA. This is called Anaivarukkum Kalvi Thittam. Anaivarukkum Idainilai Kalvi Thittam. First of all, we are going to discuss about SSA. The Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, that is we are telling SSA is the government of Indian flagship program. Indian government program. They launched in the year of 2000 to 2000 wire. Which system? SSC. So to achieve universitical elementary education, that is university elementary educational. What is the expansion of UEE? Universal Elementary Education. So SSA is now the primary vehicle for implementing the prevention of right of children to free and compulsory education in the period of where SSA, that is Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, to comply to right to education or TE. It provides to education, compulsory education, the innovation and activities related to the Burma schools. They related to the schools. Some important activities include the midday meal scheme. What ma? Midday meal scheme. So midday meal scheme, Kamarajar, that is a Madhiya Unavu Vazhagum Thittam. They also introduced. So and management commissions, SMCS and prevention of teaching and learning materials for the classroom also they provided. Rashtriya, next one is a RMSA, that is called Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, that is a centrally sponsored scheme for universalization except for the importance of quality education. This is also what a quality education for the in which stage, that is a primary stage, this is a secondary stage, which was implemented during the 11th 5-year, that is the 11th 5-year. So period 11th 5-year period, 11வது 5ஆண்டு கால திட்டம், that is called 11th period. The goal of, what is the goal of RMSA? To make secondary education qualitative. So to make the secondary education qualitative, available, accessible and affordable to all young children in the group of how many years? They will see the 14 years up to the length of 14 years. Here they want to learn the 15 to 16 years. They want to learn the 15 to 16 years. Science lab, computer, sided education, co-curriculum activities and teaching, learning aids and provide the government of India. Through the RMSA scheme, the school levels are what? Increased. Through the RMSA level, the school levels are increased. The union budget, in the union budgets when they introduced means 2018 to 2019. They propose to give the educational austerity without the segmentation from preschool to class up to 12th. In Roman we will take the 12. So, Samahara Shiksha and proposed with the Brojan code, improving the school effectiveness. They want to what? Improving the school levels was effectiveness. And measured in the terms of equal opportunities. They want to give the opportunity for all the students in commonly only. So, committee was explained the Ministry of Human Resources Development. They draft a national education policy. This committee is submitted in the year of 2019. In the year of 2019. So next of all we are going to discuss about educational development in TN. The word TN stands for Tamil Nadu. The pattern of education in Tamil Nadu was not merely regarding understanding books but listening the learned persons. The Tirukural, who wrote the Tirukural? Tiruvalluvar, stresses the need for the education and warns the dangers of the illiteracy. In ancient time, the school was called Palli. In Tamil, we will say school was called what ma? Palli. In Tamil, we will say Palli. English, we can write school. So, and the teacher was a Kanakayar. What ma? Teacher was called what ma? Kanakayar. Teacher was called Kanakayar. So, they have to compose. Who composed the Tirukural? Tiruvalluvar. Why they created? They want to understand the dangerous illumination. So, listen, a significant development took place in the field of education during the Pallava period. In Tamil, we will say Pallava Mannargaluடைய காலத்தில். So, Kataga was educational institute in the period of Pallavas. They supported educational institute. Who supported the Pallavas education centers? They supported through the endowments. The Vaishnava Deva and Saiva Mats, Saivargal, in Tamil we will say Saivargal, and boarding and lodging literates to the students and their teachers. So, what is the, you know, the Yuan Swang and Raiswing, they are the foreign travelers, foreign scholars. A graphic Kanji Buddhist center at Kanji was considered to the center of the learning. The Chola period, here we consider the Pallavas period. Now we are going to discuss about the Chola period. The Chola period also what the most brilliant and creative period in the Tamil literature. So the Tamil education enjoyed a greater connection with the religion, Mother and Kovil. In Tamil we will say Kovil, temple, that is. So the curriculum and syllabi, I already told you, syllabi means they want to understand the syllabus for the students. They have to rectify. So that is called the syllabi. So the new education given to the people. The curriculum, they have to, curriculum and syllabi had theoretical background, that is not a we are giving some like that. Here only we consider the theoretical background. From the inscription, we know the inscription means culvertical, about the teaching, what is the salary of the teachers, food provide the students to run the schools. So the Raja, they were also they educated from ancient modern period. So what is the Vedic culture here flourished means, that is Tiruvambai in Varma, Pondicherry. So the Tiruvandurai inscription of Janadeva refers to a modern school. The Pandya kings, we first discussed Pallava, next we are discussed Chola, next we are going to discuss about Pandya kings. Pandya kings patronized Sanskrit in extremely way. They revealed in the period to understand the copper plates. The educational institute, the period were called Kotkai and Sole and Vidashapna. So land were given to the teachers. At the time they given the lands and were on to the Salabogam in Tamil. We will tell Salabogam, that is Vallabha Perinjolai. Vallabha Perinjolai is located in Kanyakumari. That is a famous college during the Pandya regime, Kandalur Salai. So that also what we are telling, Kandalur Salai. Matsar occupied the significant promotion of education. They have to develop from the institution in established under the patronage of Tippina Polai. Kodam was also established in the Nayak role. The last topic is education in modern period. So what is the education in modern India? Listen, Fernadas, who came to Madurai, he came to Varma, Madurai, in the Veerappa Nayaka, in the period of Veerappa Nayaka. They have to establish the primary school. The Maratha ruler, that is a Maratha ruler, Saraboji, which Saraboji, in the period of second Saraboji, collected the old revenue and kept the Saraswati Mahal library, that is located in Tanjavur. In Tamil we will take Tanjore, in Tamil we will say Tanjavur. So they have to printing press with Devanagari type, and located there also. There means here what? Tanjore. So Thomas Munro, the governor of Madras, that is a presidency in the year of 1820 to 27, highly responsible for the introduction of women education. They controlled in the Madras presidency. So he appointed the committee to conduct statistical survey and condition to education. The Annamalai University also founded the Chidambaram in the year of 1929. Chidambaram they considered 1929. This was the next step in development of higher education. So education since independence, that is called free education. That system is called what? Free education. They developed, introduced in the year of 1964 to 65. In the year of 1986, the several changes are taken place to meet the changing and dynamics of the society in want to keeping with the national policy of education. As per we discuss about knowledge is the third eye of the man, what are the education in ancient India, sources of learning, what are the ancient system in India, universities, vigaras, they located in the Buddhist period, and what is the role of the teacher, education in medieval India, what are the modern system of education. Under the British rule they have to count the 4 periods in the year of 1813, 1813 to 1853, 1854 to 1920, 1921 to 1947. So they have development, the education development in the year of 1947, national policy on education, SSA, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, RMSA, and educational development in Tamil Nadu, education in modern period has we discussed. So you have to practice in your home. Stay safe, stay home, study well. Thank you.